Billionaire CEO disguises as Beggar. One candidate passed his test. Imagine walking into a job interview. You spent days preparing, dressed your best, and practiced every answer. But what if you failed the interview before even entering the building? That's exactly what happened when a billionaire CEO disguised himself as a blind beggar outside his own company. 3 candidates walked past him that morning and only one of them left with the job. The reason? It will shock you. Stick with me till the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. The morning was bright, and 3 job candidates nervously approached the grand glass entrance of one of the city's biggest companies. Each of them was dressed sharply, resumes tucked neatly inside their folders. But right in front of the doors, on the cold pavement, sat a blind beggar. His clothes were old, dusty, and torn. His head was bent low, his hand outstretched, holding a small tin cup filled with a mix of coins and a few crumpled bills. But what made him unusual, what most people didn't notice right away, was the shocking amount of valuables lying around him. A $1,000 bill tucked halfway out of his pocket, a shiny Rolex watch glinting in the morning sun, even a brand new iPhone resting loosely beside his leg. The beggar seemed unaware, rocking gently as if humming to himself. He looked vulnerable. Too vulnerable to vulnerable. What the candidates didn't know was that this beggar was no ordinary man. He was the billionaire CEO himself, the one they were all here to impress. And this was their first test. The first candidate, a young woman in a neat navy blue suit, slowed her steps as she spotted the blind beggar. Her eyes quickly caught the corner of the $1,000 bill peeking out. She glanced around nervously. No one seemed to be watching. Her lips tightened. She leaned down, snatched the bill, and slipped it into her purse. The beggar didn't move, didn't even react. With a small smirk, the woman straightened her jacket and walked confidently into the building, whispering to herself, "I deserve a little luck today." She thought nothing more of it. After all, she was there for the interview. That was what mattered. A few minutes later, the second candidate, a young man in a gray suit, arrived. He saw the beggar and frowned. He didn't stop to greet him. But then, as he walked past, his eyes locked on the Rolex watch sitting right by the beggar's. His mind raced. This guy doesn't even know what he's got here. It's wasted on him. I could pawn this for thousands. Without hesitation, he bent down, slid the Rolex into his briefcase, and walked away, feeling clever. Lucky break, he thought. Smiling to himself, he never once thought about the beggar's blindness, or how dangerous it would be for him to sit outside with such valuables exposed. Finally, the third candidate arrived. He was tall, with simple glasses and a slightly nervous walk. He spotted the beggar instantly. Unlike the others, he didn't rush past. He paused, then his eyes widened. Right beside the beggar lay a brand new iPhone. It was obvious, too obvious. Anyone could snatch it within seconds. The young man crouched down and spoke softly. "Sir, someone gave you an iPhone. Please be careful, it's worth a lot of money. Don't let anyone take it away." The beggar tilted his head, as if listening. The young man gently pushed the phone closer to the beggar, making sure it was tucked under his hand. Then, with a small smile, he said, "Take care, sir," and walked into the building, leaving everything exactly where it was. Inside the company lobby, all 3 candidates sat nervously in the waiting area. The receptionist soon entered, her heels clicking against the floor. She looked at the first woman and the second man. "I'm sorry," she said firmly. "You two have failed the interview process." Their mouths dropped open. "Failed?" The woman gasped. "But we haven't even been interviewed yet," the man protested. The receptionist turned to the third candidate and smiled. "Congratulations, you passed." Confusion filled the room. The 2 rejected candidates demanded answers. That's when the lobby doors opened. The beggar walked in, but he was no longer hunched, no longer weak. He stood tall, straightening his expensive suit as he removed the fake beard and glasses. Gasps filled the room. It was the CEO himself. He looked directly at the 2 candidates who had stolen. His voice was calm but sharp as a knife. "You failed the interview at the very first step, outside my door. If you can steal from a blind beggar, how can I ever trust you in my company?" The woman and the man sat frozen, shame burning their faces. Then he turned to the third candidate, his expression softening. "You showed honesty and compassion when no one was watching. That's the kind of person I need in my company." The CEO smiled. "Welcome aboard." The room went silent. The lesson was clear. The true interview isn't about how well you answer questions. It's about who you are when no one's watching. If you liked this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, because sometimes the biggest tests in life come when we least expect them.